Well, Heartbreak City almost came back to Philadelphia. Wow. That's all I can say is wow about this game. Um, these referees were horrible tonight. Let me fix my. There we go. Um, Referees were definitely, and I mean definitely, horrible in this game. Uh, a lot of non-calls in this game. I saw Devontae Smith run across the middle and get lambasted. Nothing called. These referees were horrible tonight. Horrible. And, there was some on both sides. So I'm not just saying it just, for the Eagles side. There was some that the Eagles committed that they got away with too. I thought the Quinyon Mitchell pass interference was horse crap. That last 3 and out, Devontae Smith goes up and goes back for the ball. The guy pushes him back and no call. So, I mean, they get out of Buffalo with a win, and that's good. That's good. Buffalo was a quality opponent. I said this earlier this morning. Josh Allen is more like Dan Marino than he is more towards Patrick Mahomes. So I'm waiting to see what's going to happen now going forward with this. Josh Allen will be that guy that will get you the stats during the regular season, be in the MVP running. I just don't think he's a championship quarterback. I don't. And you've seen it on the last offensive play for them. He had Shakur literally running towards the back of the end zone, and he had 4 yards of separation between him and I believe it was Blankenship and Jahad Campbell that was in pursuit behind him. Dude was wide open. Allen throws it at his feet. So, again, he is not clutch. I don't care what anybody says. He's not. He's not. He's a regular season QB that puts up good numbers. He's like the AFC version of Dak Prescott. That's what he reminds me of. The only difference between him and Dak is that he actually won a couple playoff games. He gets to the Chiefs, and they are his kryptonite. They are his daddy. But the Birds do hang on, 13-12. And the defensive side of the ball, they played outstanding today. Outstanding. This offense in the second half, I don't know if they didn't think that Buffalo was going to score on this defense, but to me, they look so lethargic in the second half. They just did. I'm going to go over these numbers here in this game because to me, oh my God, Jalen Hurts had 110 yards at halftime. He finished with 110 yards. He did not complete a pass in the second half. Barkley had 19 carries for 68 yards. Cook had 20 carries for 74 for them. Josh Allen, again, had he went 23 of 35, so he threw the ball 35 times in this game. Brandon Cooks went over 100 yards. Now, granted, one of them was a 50-yard bomb, but to me, again, this game was more about the defense and stifling that Bills offense, which was pretty damn good coming in. But I said it this morning. I said if you limit Cooks and you limit their tight ends, that they would have a hard time. And I'll tell you what, that was so bad. And here's the thing. Now, the talking heads are going to talk about how the Eagles escaped and, this and that. Well, you know what? This defense has to start being respected as one of the league's best defenses because you went into Buffalo and did Josh Allen throw for, 235 yards? Yeah, but they sacked him 5 times. They made him commit a turnover. And now Sirianni, again, is 42 and 2 when he's 42 and 2 when the Eagles win the turnover battle. The Eagles didn't turn the ball over today. There was 1 turnover in the game. So I was waiting to see more, to be honest with you. I really, truly was. I was waiting to see more from this offense. Like I said, this offense, this has to be addressed. And, Matty later on is probably going to go through this game and say they are what they are. But there was opportunities there today. It could have been the weather, because, again, I'm going to be honest with you. I thought this game was going to go over the total, which it was. I think it was 44 and a half. And I thought for sure this game was going to go over. The last time these two teams played, it was 37-34. Okay. And I thought for sure that this was going to go probably up around that area. But, this says something to me. Now, I want to give the Bills a little bit of credit because they came into this game and said, you are not going to beat us on the ground. And I don't know, but when Barkley went down, I believe it was in the third quarter, he did not look fast when he came back in. That sweep to the outside, a healthy Barkley is taking that and he's going. He got caught by that linebacker literally right in the hole. And I'm starting to think just maybe they should have let Tank Bigsby run the ball a little more in this game. You got to start letting that kid run the ball a little bit, just giving him a break. Now, it'll be interesting to see what they do a week from now. We'll have all week to speculate whether they're going to play, the number twos, start the number twos and give everybody a rest next week. But I'll tell you what, this offense coming out in the second half was just lethargic. It was like, okay, we put 13 up. Our defense is playing good. We're not going to worry about trying to go down the field. We're not going to try to worry about, I thought Dallas Goedert would have had a much better game than he did today. I don't think they utilized him enough in the passing game. There was no throwing to the backs out of the backfield. Like, that is all kind of going away from this offense. Like, last year, Barkley would come out and run plays, and you just don't see that this year. In a game like that, where's the wide receiver screens? Throw it to Schmitty and let these guys block down the field. You saw one screen that was thrown to A.J. Brown, and he kind of took off. And A.J. Brown had a pretty good first half as well. He got most of his catches, or if not all of his catches, in the first half. So, again, matter of fact, all those guys, got their catches in the first half. I will say this. The A.J. Brown, when he tried to almost one-hand it in, that was pass interference. Why they didn't call that, I don't know. The guy literally had his hand inside his jersey. There was a no call on that. Like I said, there was a lot of no calls tonight. I don't know if it was just they were letting them play or what, but they were definitely just letting stuff go. And then they threw a egregious one on Quinyon Mitchell. That was not pass interference. I don't care what anybody says. I will argue it with them to the T. It was not pass interference at all. He looked back for the ball, everything. Like, it was not pass interference. And for them to throw that flag, that was egregious. And to me, I felt like it kind of kept it going. But you got to give the front seven of the Eagles their due today. And I'm going to say that actually, and I'm going to count Cooper DeJean as a part of that front seven, because between him, Reed Blankenship was also throwing his weight around tonight. I thought Epps looked a little slow, especially going after that ball with Brandon Cooks. And you could not have had two more luckier bounces, I think, for the Bills than those passes. The one to Cooks that went deep against Epps, and the other one against Quinyon Mitchell, where the guy's coming down and he doesn't have control of the ball, and it turns around and it lands on them as they hit the ground. It was both plays. I mean, so, again, 13-12. I mean, whew. Again, I'm looking at the stats right here, and you're looking at the Eagles. The Eagles, Devontae Smith had 2 catches for 25 yards today. 2 catches for 25 yards. Literally, there was 1, 2, 3, 6, 8, 13. They had 13 catches today. And that was Jalen Hurts. He was damn near 500. He had a 71.5 rating today. But again, in those conditions today, you got to be able to run the football. And I just didn't see, I didn't see any consistency with trying to run at this Bills team. Where was the up-tempo? I said this morning when I talked with Al this morning, I said, I want to see this Eagles team start running up-tempo. Let's start wearing some of these other defenses that we're going to have to play. Let's start running these good defenses down. Run up tempo on them. You don't see that. You don't see no urgency from this Eagles offense. Again, with the plays coming in. Now, they were a little better today than they've been the past couple of weeks with getting the ball off. Like, they were getting the ball off around 1 second, 2 seconds going in. Today, they were getting it off a little easier or a little sooner. But still, I mean, it's with under 5 seconds. And it's getting to be a little nerve-wracking watching these guys try to get open. They went to 5 wide once in this game. Jalen Hurts, again, most of his snaps today was not under center. Wasn't under center. And for the most part, again, he was kind of half on, half off, So for me, watching this game and seeing everything that came through fruition with this, to be honest with you, I thought the Bills were going to win the game. Sitting there looking, I'm going, and I kind of had the Bills total almost right. I believe I said 31. I can actually tell you. Hold on, because I actually wrote it down earlier. Al wrote 27-24 Bills. I wrote 31-17 Eagles because I thought the Eagles could easily score on them. And it just didn't do it, man. It just did not come to fruition, man, at all. But I will tell you this. I don't know if it's the weather that they were playing in, whether the ball was slippery, whatever excuse. I just, I'm not going to sit here and believe that, they put up 30 on the Commanders a week ago and 31 on the Raiders, and then, you're only going to put up 13 against them. I mean, like I said, I think the weather did have a lot to do with it, but it had a lot to do with it for both offenses because I thought the Bills would definitely score about between 17 and 20 points today. I just thought the Eagles had the much better defense, and when Josh Allen has to play a better defense, he gets skittish. And Josh Allen's not right either. I mean, we saw that. If you watch the game, you could tell he's banged up. That foot is really bothering him, and as the game got more and more, he stopped scrambling. Like, when do you know Josh Allen to have under 20 yards rushing? Or I think he was right at 20 yards or something like that. So, I mean, he doesn't – that dude takes off. If something ain't there, he's gone. He leads the league in running. He's got 550 some odd yards rushing this year. He leads all quarterbacks in rushing. So, again, I think it was kind of even though it was a nail biter of things, I just don't think it was the way both teams, I think, wanted to look. I mean, it was just a sloppy, nasty game. And, for the Eagles, they got lucky. They got lucky because, Shakir was wide open in that end zone. If Josh Allen keeps that ball up a little bit, you're talking about a 14-13 Eagles loss in Buffalo. And that defense was starting to get gassed towards the end of the game. When they started going up tempo, that Eagles defense was starting to get gassed. They weren't getting the same push. So I think with this being said, with this win, pushing them to 11-5, now they get to play the Commanders again, coming back in this week. Commanders have been off since Thursday, so they've had a little extra time to heal up and get ready for this rematch coming up in a week. Star Wars checking in. He said that was a nail. Well, I guess you meant to say nail biter. Nail biter. He said that pass to Smith. Which one are you talking about, bud? He said Josh Allen never beat Hurts. I think they only played twice so far. So, I mean, Jalen is 2-0 against them. But, and they say Josh Allen is better than Hurts. He was better than Hurts today. He really was. But, again, to me, that's all empty calories. It's Dak Prescott. He's the Dak Prescott of the AFC. The only difference is he can beat some of the other teams. Now, he goes back and forth between losing, him and Lamar Jackson kind of trade off on stuff. But, I'm not confident. If you look at the playoff picture in there, I'm not real comfortable. I think if they play New England for a third time, I think New England beats them. I think New England's a better team. If they play Houston, Houston's already beaten them this year. I think Houston would beat them. Hell, if the Chargers get any type of line help back, I think the Chargers could beat them. So either which way, it's really looking like Buffalo's going to have to hit the road and go somewhere. And if they are number 5, they would be playing 4, which is the win. Which it would be kind of ironic next week if Baltimore beats Pittsburgh next week, because then you get Josh Allen versus Lamar Jackson in Baltimore on Wild Card Weekend, and I think that would be really, really something to see. Because I think Lamar would get them. I think Lamar would get them there, and then they would get bounced the next week. So I think it would be really good, man. He said not a Super Bowl team. Yeah, I don't think Buffalo's a Super Bowl team. I really don't. Robert saying good evening, Mike. Good evening, Robert. How are you? This was definitely a very close Eagles win. Eagles got to work on that offense. We just beat Buffalo in the freezing rain. Man, y'all are never happy. Listen, you can't be happy when your quarterback does not complete a pass in the second half. I'm sorry. This game, the Eagles had a chance to put them away. If they go down and if they keep one of those drives alive and go down and just kick a field goal, we're not even looking at this game. We're not even like sweating, really. And I think if they go down and do that, I think they take their heart. And I'll tell you, it's really they got to get over that. Now, again, the elements were what they were. I just feel like, the hands just weren't there for the Eagles today. Dallas Goedert dropped the ball. A couple balls went through Schmitty's hands. AJ was being interfered with when he tried to make a one-handed catch, but there was a couple. I mean, AJ actually saved Hurts on one. I believe it was probably second quarter. Hurts got hit when he threw the ball, and next thing you know, boom, like the ball kind of got deflected. It was like an ugly ball, and AJ kind of came back and caught it and went out of bounds. So, it was just a real ugly game. It was an ugly game, and, I'm going to be as real as I can be here with this. It was an ugly game. It was a poorly officiated game, but at the end of the day, the Bills had a chance to win this game. If Josh Allen throws a Josh Allen type ball, they win this game on a walk-off. And we're not talking about an Eagles win. But it just goes to show you, man. He had happy feet, man. He had happy feet. And, when you get sacked 5 times, that'll do that to you. Robert saying, Eagles definitely got to run more. Yep. He said the weather was a major factor. It was. John Morris checking in. Hey, what's up, cuz? My cousin checking in here. It says, ugly, but I'll take it. Hey, it was ugly. It was ugly. It was an ugly game, but, now, I mean, what can they say? Like all this. Hurts just keeps adding names to his list. I mean, Hurts didn't have a great day by any means. By any means. He had probably the worst second half than probably going back to the Tampa game when they didn't do nothing in Tampa. So, oh, man. That's crazy. He says he needs to run more. Al Safiri goes, don't tell me Vegas doesn't know. Me and Al were talking about this morning. Hey, Al, I had the Eagles plus. So I was cool. Oh, here we go. Matty B checking in. Hurts, 0 completed passes in the second half because of the officials. Homer Vision activated. Are you not listening to me? Did I not say that they were bad for both teams? Both, Matty, both. Jesus Christ. I love the guy. I love you, guy, but damn, come on. I know you're a miserable and you want to get out here and kill Hurts. That's fine, and you can. I just sat here and said he has to do better. They sat back on their laurels, and they didn't complete. They thought that 13 points was going to be enough. And if you look at it, they had no urgency in the second half. They looked horrible. I've said all these things. But Jesus Christ, watch the game. Don't tell me that you watch the game and you're looking at it and you're not seeing all the BS calls. And it was done on both sides, not just against the Eagles. It was done against the Bills too. Oh, my God, dude. Like, Come on. Like, you can't tell me that the Quinyon Mitchell pass interference was a pass interference. It wasn't. And you can't tell me when Devontae Smith goes up like this for the ball and the guy pushes him beforehand, that it's not pass interference. That's what it is. And he caught the ball and he reversed it and said he didn't catch it. Like, give me a break on this. Give me a break. And then there was a couple where Jaden Phillips was lined up offsides. They didn't call that. Jalen Hunt was lined up offsides about 5 times. They didn't call that. So I'm going to name some of the ones the Eagles did too. Okay. Adoree Jackson got away with not 1, not 2, but 3 holds in this game. So again, I'm not just stating where, it was beneficial for the Eagles. They were bad completely for everybody. Not just the Eagles. They were bad for the Bills as well. Again, I'm not making excuses for Jalen Hurts. Not. That offensive line's got to open up they got to open up holes to let Barkley run through. But I'm telling you now, Barkley did not look like himself in that second half. He looked slower, and they should have went to Tank Bigsby and let Bigsby run the ball a little bit more. Split it up. Bring Will Shipley in. Do a change of pace. Do something. This Bills team is horrible against the run. Horrible. And again, my opinion, what I noticed, not under a center as much as they've been in the past 2 weeks. A lot of shotgun snaps today. And you can't do it. And Fred Johnson got blasted. I don't know if anybody saw that. He got literally, he got knocked on his ass. So Lane can't get back here fast enough. I mean, granted, Lane won't be back here next week, but Al said the offense had to score 1 field goal to make it less stressful. Yeah, I was sitting here saying that, Al, watching the game. I'm like, are you kidding me? I'm like, you went up and down the field on this team in the first half. It's obviously they can't get going. And listen, this is going to be a problem with the Eagles going forward because you're going to get in there. And I'm sorry, I'm not scared of anybody in the NFC. I'm not. I'm not scared of the 49ers. Even though the Bears beat us, I'm not scared of them. They got to beat us and win accounts. And that's in the postseason. And I don't see that happening. Not with that team. Sorry. Seattle, as long as they have Sam Darnold, I'm not worried about them. I'm not. If they had a different quarterback, maybe. Yeah, different quarterback, maybe. If they had Joe Burrow playing quarterback in Seattle, I'd worry. Because Joe's a dog. But I'm not worried about them. Whoever wins the South, not worried about any of them. Already beat Tampa. So, again, the Rams already beat those guys. I don't care. You can say it was Lady Luck. It's whatever. They beat them. They beat them the last 5 times they played them. Or 4 times 4 or 5 times. There's 4 or 5 games. Eagles, Rams. The Eagles have beaten them. Not worried about them. Again, what I'm seeing now is they got to get right. Maybe they need to take a week off. I don't does it really matter if you're 2 playing? I heard this radio on the Eagles postgame or pregame as I was driving. I had some errands to do, so I missed all the 1:00 games today. So I'm driving back to my home. I'm listening to WIP, and they brought up a really good, interesting question. Would you want to stay at the 3 seed and possibly have to play the Rams opening round? Or do you want to win, possibly, but you need the Bears to lose at Detroit next week, and they got to lose tonight. Bears lose those 2 games, then you jump back up to number 2. And then you would get stuck playing Green Bay without Micah Parsons and so forth. I personally, I don't care who we play. Because whoever we play, they got to come here. Now, are the Rams a good team? Yeah, but they've shown cracks in their armor over the last few weeks. Green Bay has shown cracks in their armor. Derrick Henry just ran for 200 yards against them. Sorry, let me tilt this light a little bit. Whew. I was getting a suntan over here, guys. A suntan. So anyway, Derrick Henry ran for, like I said, 200 yards, 4 touchdowns against that Green Bay defense. Seattle has to be ahead. They have to be ahead. If they're behind, they can't play from behind. The Rams let them off the hook a couple weeks ago on that Thursday night. They let them off. Watch the whole game. If the Eagles, again, that's going to be a real interesting game next week. If the 49ers can win tonight and the 49ers win next week, they basically don't have to go nowhere. The Super Bowl's in their backyard, and they would have home field. But I'm not scared of the 49ers. I'm really not. They've played nobody this year. Nobody. Any team that was remotely any type of good beat the 49ers this year. So, no, I'm not worried about the Niners. I'm not. So, it says, not sure if it's me or not, but it looked like the clock kept stopping for the Bills late in the fourth. Unless they were calling timeouts, cuz John, not that I seen. I didn't really see anything kind of like that, but I did see, like I said, a lot of blown calls, just a lot of blown calls, and like I said, it was on both sides. But I'm an Eagles fan, and I'm going to point out the majority of the ones that I seen from the Eagles. And but in fairness, like I said, somebody needs to talk to Jalen Hunt because that's going to come back to bite him in the ass. He's lining up, and I can literally, they're having that down the line shot, and you can see his head is literally in the neutral zone. And they didn't throw no flag, not one flag did they throw on that. And he was doing it all game. So, I just don't, I don't know, man. It was just really weird watching this. Matty B just being like Big Sills. Yeah, you can say that again. I can agree with you on the backs. Yeah. He looked at it. He goes, this offense really needs to figure out how to play a whole game. Well, we've been saying that all year, right? We've been saying this all year. Like this defense to me tonight, that team, the last time that they were held to that low of points this season, if I remember right, let me go back and I just want to take a look at the Bills' schedule real quick because I remember looking at their schedule this morning, and I was like, well, wait a minute. And literally since week one, right? Since week one, let's see. I'm looking. Okay. Patriots held them to 20. Falcons held them to 14. Bills had 13 against the Dolphins. I'm still looking here. Texans held them to 19. And the Eagles held them to 12. So the Eagles have held the Buffalo Bills to their lowest output of points in this season. But again, I'm going to be the first one to say, I think it's weather related. I literally, when I did my bets today, I took the over in this game. I really thought both offenses were going to be able to move the ball. I thought the Eagles would be able to move it on the ground, and I thought with Josh Allen, he might be able to do some with the screen game with Jahad Campbell in there. To me, I'm kind of glad that, Nakobe will be starting in the playoffs. I think Jahad still needs to learn a little bit because he was kind of getting blown off the ball today. And they were kind of having success kind of running the ball a little bit. I just want to go in and see the rushing yards. Team stats. Here we go. Rushing yards. Bills had $120 in rushing today. Passing yards, they were at 211 for a total of 331 yards. Eagles were at 190, literally. 82 rushing yards, 108 yards passing. First downs, Bills had an 11-20 lead there. Third down efficiencies, Bills were 6 for 15. The Eagles were 3 for 13. Fourth down efficiency, Bills were 2 for 3. Eagles didn't try it. Sacks allowed. Somehow, some way, they got Hurts for a sack. I don't remember them getting a sack. Total plays in the game, 73 for Buffalo, 54 for the Eagles, which means our defense played 19 more plays than our offense did. Think about that for a second. Holy cow, man. Again, they got to do better. They got to do better. Sacks allowed. Eagles gave up 1. The Bills gave up 5. Eagles punted 7 times. The Bills punted 6. Penalties. Eagles 3 for 36. Buffalo 4 for 40. So there were 7 calls in the game. There should have been way many more calls than that. Fumbles lost was 1. Interceptions thrown, no interceptions. Time of possession. Here you go. Bills had the ball for 35 minutes and 15 seconds. Eagles had the ball for 24 minutes, 45 seconds. Eagles in the red zone, 1 for 2. Bills were 2 for 3. Eagles were 2 for 2 with field goals made. There was no field goals made by Buffalo. So they are your stats right there. I'm going to take you guys around the league real quick. Give you what Week 18 had to offer. And as we get ready, Week 17 had to offer today. So we're going to start off in the Sunshine State. Battle of 2 of the Sunshine State's teams as Tampa went into Miami to play the Dolphins. It was the Dolphins 20, Tampa Bay 17. With that loss, Tampa still has a shot because of the Seahawks going into Carolina today and beating the Panthers 27-10. So next week in Tampa, it is Carolina and Tampa Bay for the NFC South. So buckle your chin straps up for that one, man. Here we go. It was New England 42 to Jets 10. Big upset in Cleveland today as the Browns take care of the Steelers. Now there's another division in the AFC right now, as we're going to take a look at, as Pittsburgh now has to play Baltimore, and the winner of that game gets to go to the postseason. It was Jaguars beating the Colts 23-17. It was the Saints beating the Titans. It was the Bengals 37-14 over the Cardinals. Giants rolled. Giants, look, they can't even get the number 1 pick right. If the Giants lost today, they would have had the number 1 pick in the draft. The Giants can't even. I'm going to get on my kid about this because my kid's a Giants fan, and I have to tell him, I'm like, dude, your organization's stupid. If you lose, you get the number 1 pick wrapped up in this upcoming draft. And what do? They go out and beat the Raiders 34-10. Dude, I'd have put every scrub that we had in that game. So there you have it. Bears and Niners are about to kick off roughly in about 10 minutes. Tomorrow night, Falcons and Rams. So there you go. If you're looking at it right now, it is, like I said, Panthers going to Tampa next week. And I'm looking right here, and I don't say it. Where is it? Oh, here it is. And the Ravens going to Pittsburgh. So there you go, man. There is your schedule for next week. I think it's going to be crazy good. And let me go over here real quick. I was getting on these comments. Storer says, Eagles win, 76ers lose. Ooh. Our boy to Joey Sullivan checking in. Says, yo, did the Eagles not call a timeout when Buffalo got in the scoring range with 50 seconds left? Crazy. Horrible clock management and play calling late. Joe, the whole second half was bad with play calling. The whole second half, like, they just could not get nothing going. Like, where were the screens at? Where was the screens? Like running back screens, not to the wide receiver, running back screens. Couldn't leave well enough alone to take out the first string after the 3. Nooms. He said Lions are eliminated. Yep, they were eliminated. Or even after half. Nooms wanted Tanner McKee in there. Star Wars, he said Hurts plays 17 games. Yeah, after that, like I said, to me, I think Joe's got a point though right here with this. It said, why didn't the Eagles not call a timeout when Buffalo got in the scoring range? I mean, you seen they were running up tempo. Your guys were getting tired. Call a timeout. That's where I would have called a timeout and got them to, God, There was nothing that they were doing. Like the Eagles, it was like it's like the Eagles had this playbook that they don't want to show nobody until playoff time or something. Because like so many plays that they were running today, I'm going, the hell are they doing? Like in this second half, I was scratching my head more than I normally do. And I was like, what are they doing? I don't know. Like, now if they come out in the playoffs and start scoring and whipping it around, I'm gonna be like, oh, you guys dogged it all season. You know what I mean? But I seriously doubt that would happen. And Al saying, Paul Lyman, for the love of Christ. Yeah, right. We didn't even see that. You know? And I will say this: as much as people try to compare Cam to Jason Kelsey, he's no Jason Kelsey. He cannot. Yeah, his pull game is not real good. Said Dallas got her that up back. Yeah, right. Yeah. What happened to the big Samoan kid we got? What's his name? Lutu or whatever the hell his name is? How about putting him in fullback and saying, okay, blast a hole open here? The worst run defense. And they don't use a fullback in this game. I mean, are we really missing Ben Van Sumeren that bad? That's right. Yeah, I threw that name out there. I mean, are they really missing him that bad that they can't blow? They cannot. Like, Barkley was get 3 yards. Get 3 yards in a tush push, man. Do something. Like, they were just bad. It was just bad in that second half. And Hurts was god awful. He was just god awful, but he didn't get a lot of help either. There was a few balls that were in hands and they got dropped. So his wide receivers didn't help him out in the second half. His line sure as hell didn't help him out because they started bringing pressure. And I want to know again, where is the running back? Didn't you ever hear of chip a guy and go out in the flat? If they're all dropping back and he goes out in the flat, he's open. You want to get him in space? Hell, that's a hell of a lot of space. Again, there was nothing to what they were doing in the second half. It was like, we got to lead. If we have to turn it up, we'll turn it up then. And then they couldn't turn it up. That's what it looked like to me. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. But again, I'm going to clearly reiterate what I said earlier because I know Matty B's up because he's getting ready to do a show in about 45 minutes. So I heard the coffin door kind of raise up. But, again, I'm not making excuses. I'm telling you what I seen. And what I seen, Jalen Hurts was god awful in that second half. And I've been saying it since the start of this. So I love him to death. I do. But to come on here and say, oh, that's the excuse that I was making when I clearly wasn't. It says, and I'm going to read his quote again. Hurts 0, completed 0, but because of the officials. I did not say it was because of the officials. I said the officials were god awful for both sides. But I had to reiterate myself and let Matty know that. It says Patullo was bad. I don't know. Can we blame Patullo? Patullo's not throwing the ball. Patullo's not trying to open up holes. Patullo's not, all the guy does is he calls the play in. Let's stop blaming the offensive coordinator and let's start putting the blame where it needs to go on the players. They got to execute. And right now, they're not executing. They're not. And again, they just keep, I don't know. I just don't, it's frustrating to watch this offense, especially when the defense is giving you an effort like they're giving you. You're holding Josh Allen, supposed league MVP. You held them all game. Like he had, I call it empty calories. That's all he had was, a little bit of yards here, a little bit of yards there. If you really take a look at it, 2 plays, he got 90 yards off of 2 plays. He got 90 yards. No, I'm sorry. 3 plays. He got 120 of his yards came off of 3 plays. 3 plays. The 2 plays to Brandon Cooks and the other kid, the one that they called right after they called the interference on Quinyon Mitchell. So again, it's just I don't know. It's mind-boggling, but you can't put that much pressure on your defense because I think Buffalo kind of opened up a little bit of a blueprint on how to get the Eagles out of to wear out their defense. You saw them go up tempo. You see them go up tempo. You know, I think that's kind of out now. Teams are going to see that. Playoff teams are going to see that. So I don't know. If someone told me that they were calling conservative plays to keep Hurts out of harm's way, I would actually believe it. I don't know. I mean, can you really sit there and say that? I saw Hurts throw just as much balls downfield as Josh Allen did today. So I don't think it was them trying to keep him conservative. They were taking shots. I mean, the first series of the game, they came out and threw 3 passes. Which, by the way, they didn't do another rollout either, which I felt like they probably could have, especially the way the Bills were trying to come in from Mailata's side. Do a rollout to the opposite side. That dude's got a long way to run. So, it was just crazy. Just crazy second half. This offense definitely played real bad. Second half they did. First half, they played a hell of a game. The first half. They didn't call the unstoppable Dallas Gene to flat on an RPO. Not a single time tonight. No, they didn't. They did not. Carter had his fingerprints all over the game, literally. Yeah, speaking about that, again, like they win this game, and it's because Jalen Carter blocked a extra point. They win this game. I think that's kind of crazy, but I'll tell you what, Cooper DeJean, that dude is the guy. I don't care what anybody says. That kid was a heat-seeking missile tonight. He definitely came to play. The hits he did tonight, I mean, just take a look at it. It really fired up his teammates because if you looked after that, you saw Blankenship flying around. You saw Bourne flying around. And like I said, you have to give the defense a lot of love. They kept Josh Allen out of the end zone for the majority of the game. Josh Allen didn't get in the end zone until 8 minutes left to go in the fourth quarter. Now, granted, they scored 2 touchdowns within that time frame, but they kept them out. So you look about this and think about this real good. For 51 minutes of that ball game yesterday, Josh Allen had no answer for this Eagles defense. None. And Zach Bourne had a great stop. And I'll tell you what, as much as I can't stand Adoree Jackson, he had a good stop on that touchdown initially. So I'm taking the second half. First half, Hurts was distributing 6 or 7 different. Yeah, he was. He was, Nooms. He really was. I hope DeJean only got hit in the nuts and didn't screw up his groin. Yeah, me too. You see, I think he was okay because he was joking with his coach. When the coach came out there, they were all laughing, so it looks that good. 3 words. Let's go Flyers. Really? Well, speaking of the Flyers, that's right. Yours truly. So if you didn't have enough of hearing me and hearing my opinions, guess what? I'll be back later on tonight for Clear the Ice as the Flyers take on the Kraken. And literally following me, get ready to come up at 9 o'clock here. The final word with one Matty B. And I'm pretty sure his takes will be hopefully they'll be a lot more similar to mine now that I had to explain myself to him and let him know that I wasn't being a homer, I was just calling what I seen. And it says, because they were gassed, if the offense could just hold on the ball for 5 extra minutes. Yeah, that's the whole thing. Like, if they could have just went down and got a couple first downs, like, give those guys a break. But I think Joe Sullivan had a really good thing, too. Like, if you see your defense is getting gassed, call a friggin' timeout. So, make sure you call a timeout. You call a timeout. It gives them a rest. But if your offense stays on the field, you don't have to burn a timeout, and you can still burn clock. you know, again, I think it would have been hard. I'm not saying they would have shut him out, but Josh Allen had no answer for this defense all game long. For 52 minutes, he had no answer for this Eagle defense. No answer. It was just the last 8 minutes. And that's when you got to give them credit. They saw the defense was getting tired. They started doing up tempo. And when they did that, boom. They annoy me when they don't call a timeout. Yeah. Yeah. I was getting a little nervous with that, especially on that second, drive. I'm like, take a timeout. I'm like, I understand they're down, but you could clearly see what they were doing. So, but anyway, Eagles hold on with a 13-12 win. Matty B will be up probably in about a half. I'm going to go get ready because I got to watch the Flyers game. So I can't be on here talking to you guys for 3 hours and watching the Flyers game. So definitely we'll be back later on for that news. Or Star Wars says Eagles survived late scare. Bills had a chance for the number 2 seed. Felt like the Denver game, man. A little bit. It did feel like that a little bit. I have a lot of faith in our defense. And luckily, Josh Allen I'm not going to lie, he heard footsteps. And I think that foot's a lot worse than what people led on to believe because I think we played against a Josh Allen that was probably 70% today. I want to say that. Like, as far as, like, running-wise, Josh Allen runs for a lot more than 20 yards. Givingly, he runs for more than 20 yards. Him only having 20 yards today, that said a lot to me. Again, though, but the Eagles escape. A win's a win. And they're all good at this time of the year. Now, the question is, do we kind of get Tanner McKee up and ready and the second string and have them go out and play against the Commanders? If they get a win and Chicago loses tonight and next Sunday, the Eagles can end up with the number 2 seed and play Green Bay again in the first round. Or they lose next week and they get the Rams. So it really all depends. I believe I'm trying to remember, I think I'm trying to remember if the standings, here we go. Yeah, the Rams are 11-4. 49ers are 11-4. The 49ers can go to 12-4 tonight with a win. If that were to happen, if they go to 11-5, they would drop underneath the Rams, and the Rams would move up. And the Rams would move up to play Seattle next week because the Rams are at 11-4. Seattle's at 13-3. They would go to 13-4, and I guess it would be like whatever conference record or division record it would be. I think they would all have split. But the 49ers and Seahawks play each other next week. Mike Peppernick checking in real quick. He says the Eagles only scoring 1 offensive touchdown in 4 quarters is unacceptable. It kind of is what it is, Mike. This game was nasty. I had a 31-17 game. I thought for sure that they were going to go over the what was it, the 42 or 44 and a half point total. It was a combination of things. It was weather. It was bad play calling in the second half on the Eagles' part. It's Josh Allen, I think, not being a little more hurt than what he was. Them not having their couple of their core guys with Kincaid being out. Kincaid being out killed them today. I thought for sure if he would have been in there, this game would have been we probably would have lost this game, seeing how the offense kind of faded away. So, again, there's always, as an Eagles fan, you learn to accept this. There's always a game on their schedule that they should win, that they lose, and there's always a game that you think they're going to lose that they win. And maybe that was this game. So, we can go up and down the list of games that they won that people probably thought that they shouldn't have won. But, again, sometimes you need a little luck on your side too. And not having no completed passes in the second half and still winning a game, very, very lucky. I know it can't continue. So that offense just, he said Purdy just threw a pick six. Cool. I took Chicago in the upset tonight. So, so, oh yeah. And I also have that on one of my parlays tonight. I got Purdy throwing a pick six. So yeah, hell yeah. Way to go, boys. Go ahead, bear down. I don't care who we play. Like I said, I don't. There's no head and shoulders team above anybody in the NFC, and I think the NFC is the better conference. Prove me wrong on that. That's all. That's the words I'm going to leave you with. Nobody in the NFC. Everybody. Here's the thing. Anybody can beat anybody in the NFC. And anybody in the NFC can go to the Super Bowl and represent it, with the exception of the 49ers. I have no faith in the 49ers at all. I do not have no faith in them. Them and Tampa, because Tampa's kind of shitty. But other than that, the other 4 teams or 5 teams that are in there, they could easily all go. I just don't. I have no faith in the 49ers or Tampa. Everybody else, they could be beaten on any given Sunday, or they can get hot and go to the Super Bowl. And I'm not a big Sam Darnold guy, but Seattle does got a really, really good defense. And, it is what it is. And he said this Eagles offense is not ready for the playoffs. But, Mike, sometimes you don't have to be ready for the playoffs, man. And what I mean by that is they got to win the turnover battle. If this defense starts taking the ball away, you saw today. There was 1 turnover in the game. The Eagles capitalized on it. Just keep this in the back of your mind. When the Eagles don't turn the ball over and they get at least 1 turnover, they are 42-2 under Nick Sirianni. Plain and simple, they win those games. So, all right, guys. Well, that's going to about do it for me here on the Birds Flyby. We got one more for the regular season. As the Eagles get ready to host those Washington Commanders as they come in. So I will see you back here probably, I don't know, in about 2.5 hours or so for Clear the Ice. I'm Mike Lauro. I will see you guys then. Have a good night. Birds win!